Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill late Friday night. And Jeff Brom in Louisville, they go down to Miami. It really shocked the world, man. This is a Miami team that looked like one of, if not the best team in the country through the first half of 2025. They came out completely unprepared. And Dill, we said it in the preview and prediction episode. If Miami plays the way they've played in the first half of the year, they should win this game. But this is not a game you can afford to not play your best football. And that's what we saw. Dill, it starts with Carson Beck. I think the other storyline is the coaching staff. I think Louisville whooped tail, man. I mean, Louisville came out with a better game script to open up the game. I thought they made the better in-game adjustments as well. I thought Miami's defense really hung in there after the first two drives. That Miami offense had nothing. And that's one of the things we've talked about quietly with Miami through the first part of the season, specifically in the passing attack. Like Malachi Tony's a guy. He's one of the best wide receivers in the country. I feel comfortable saying that. How many other guys outside of Malachi, outside of CJ Daniels, do they trust? I'm not sure if the answer is that many guys. Couldn't run the football either. I mean, there's a
That was
long
the big one. I mean, you can't get to your A ball at all. Like,
yeah,
there's no point in that game where you look like the more physically dominant football team.
yep.
That just can't be what Miami looks like. They will struggle to win games if that's the performance they get from their offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line, running backs, I mean, what is 63 carries, 2.6 yards per carry. That's not Miami Hurricanes football. That's not how this program, this team was built to win in 2025. Long list of things. I want to invite the Miami fans to let it fly in the comment section. Yeah, how are we feeling about this football team? Are we changing our expectations? Because I'll start with this still. I'm not changing my expectations regarding Miami because I've seen enough good football to know they are still a national championship caliber team. They just played really damn bad football Friday night. Miami fans let it fly. This fan base has shown a ton of support to the boys really for the last couple of years. So we appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, I'll put you on the tee box. The biggest takeaway that you have from this football game, what you got for us?
Your best unit can't be one of the worst units on the field. I mean, that offense line, it wasn't just that they couldn't run the ball particularly well. That's clearly where it started. Way
Yep.
too many penalties from that unit. And then on some big downs, not being able to hold up in pass protection. Like,
Yeah.
that certainly wasn't the issue. But it's just tough to win when your best unit and your A unit, like
Yeah.
your horse, if you will, goes out there and lays an egg.
Can we talk about that? Because that's quietly been a little bit of a concern. Dill, your longest run on the night was the 12-yard end around to Malachi Tony that went for a touchdown. Miami's lack of explosiveness in the run game, it's kind of been a problem. And we probably haven't talked enough about the problems with this Miami team because there's been a few, and you saw them rear their head tonight. I need to go back and watch the game again. But number one, it didn't seem like we were resetting the line of scrimmage all that much. And we've seen them do that a lot in the prior games. They didn't do that tonight. Number two, I feel like we're really struggling to get to the second level. Like, how many times did these linebackers just come up and fit the run? When you're running some of that inside zone stuff and duo stuff, you got to work to the second level. And look, this is a big offensive line. How good are they in space? They have to be better climbing to the second level and trying to find some sort of explosive rushing attack because Miami wants to run the football. But if you don't have the ability to be explosive, you kind of have to be perfect. Miami wasn't perfect tonight.
And honestly, they've kind of been perfect in a lot of ways up front. Like, they've been
Yeah.
able to just grind teams out,
Yep.
not hit explosive runs, but also not have many of those
Yep.
1 to 2 yarders. And obviously today, pretty much it felt like almost every first down you're getting 1 or 2 yards. It just can't be where Miami
All
lives.
right. Second storyline here. By far the worst game we've seen from Carson Beck, right? 4 interceptions. And that was another storyline we had in the preview and predict. This is a Louisville team that was top 5 in the country in forcing turnovers. Boy, did they live up to that. And Carson Beck just not good enough. It felt like Shannon Dawson and Carson Beck just did not know what they were looking at pretty much all night. We are used to seeing Carson Beck be on time, accurate with the football. was kind of lost. And Dill, you're talking about the offensive line and pass protection, and I think there are some circumstances that you certainly saw the offensive line break down in pass protection. The ball wasn't coming out, man. The ball was not coming out of Carson Beck's hands, and when it was, he was putting the ball in harm's way. Do you think it's a problem? The lack of diversity we have in the passing attack. And what I mean by that is, all right, it's Malachi Tony, it's CJ Daniels, it's a little bit of Keelan Marion, but I don't know how much they trust that wide receiver 3, that wide receiver 4. Do you see that as a problem for Miami going forward in 2025?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's been all year, so I'm not like gonna just rush to
Okay.
judgment. I thought there was a big issue in terms like it just didn't feel like they got to anything today. Like you kind of said, the
Yep.
ball was in his hand. It felt like
Yep.
it just didn't feel like anything was open. Everything was hard. He had to make good throws and good plays if they were
Yeah.
gonna move the ball. And obviously the turnovers were a problem, but like it just didn't feel like Shannon Dawson probably called his best game,
Yep.
frankly, either, because it didn't feel like
Yep.
anything was like dialed up particularly well. A lot of screens, a lot of stuff underneath. It just didn't feel like they got to anything really.
I would probably agree with that. I'll have to rewatch it more, but you are right when you're and I think that's a sneaky big storyline. Like the storyline that the media is going to run with, and rightfully so. Like 4 interceptions for Carson Beck. It's going to be hard to beat any team on your schedule when you throw 4 picks. It's kind of a miracle you were in this football game. It didn't seem like Shannon Dawson came out. And that's the frustrating part, Dill. Like you're at home, it's Friday night. You know you're hosting a good team, and you know you're hosting a team that has given you problems in previous years, and you came out flat. You came out not ready on either sides of the football, Dill, because we can pivot to the defense. Now, credit Corey Heatherman, because
Because they
that's when you know you got a real defense coordinator, right? All right, you came out and got punched in the mouth pretty good. Gave up 14 pretty much right away. Really, really good in-game adjustments by Corey Heatherman. And you again, you want to talk about what went wrong for Miami, but you have to give a ton of credit to Coach Brom. They knew their offensive line probably couldn't hold up, right? They knew that. All right, we're going to get the ball out really damn quick. And they did. They kind of took this Miami Hurricanes pass rush, which has been dominant all year. They took them out of the game with how quickly the ball was getting out of Miller Moss's hands. I thought that was probably the biggest storyline on the defensive side of the football for Miami.
Because honestly, the defense is pretty good for the most part. I do think you're right. Like at the end of the day, they really did after those first two drives shut it
Yeah.
down for the most part. It's like kudos to the defense. I don't think I'd come away from this concerned about that unit.
No,
I thought
no.
they did their job. It was much more the offense.
You did see a little bit of a problem here. And we've talked about it too. That depth on the defensive line, especially in the middle, is not great. They trust 3 guys. They barely played any more than 3 guys. You know, Ahmad Moten, David Blay, Justin Scott. And Justin Scott barely plays. They got dominated in terms of time of possession in that first quarter and that
And
second.
that's going to be a problem though. Like that, but that's a mix of offense and defense. But like
Yeah.
if their offense isn't, that is going to be an issue if like their offense goes through
Yes.
games where they don't have the ball. That's going to put a
Still,
lot of
here's the thing. It hasn't been a problem because Miami's been so good in the time possession department. So your depth on the defensive line hasn't really needed to step up. You don't really have that. I mean, I'm interested to see the amount of plays David Blake played, Ahmad Moten played, because they don't come off the field. And that's a lot of snaps for 310-pound bodies to be playing every single week. Keontae Scott was awesome, man. There are some positives. I don't think I've seen a nickel defender have a bigger impact on a football game than what Keontae Scott did. And he didn't even have an interception, man. He's creating negative plays. He's getting home on the blitzes. He's obviously forced that fumble as well, kept them in that football game. It's hard to pick at the defense outside of coming out a little bit unprepared. That defense was really good for the last 3 quarters, but
You are right, because you can probably live with like an opening drive touchdown, like you probably don't prefer it. It is tough to just give up 2 straight and it feel kind of easy. I mean, that to me, like if you're gonna criticize anything, you probably don't love that second drive because it did feel like they hit you with the same thing pretty much in the first and second drive.
where do you put Louisville now? Like, is this a team that can do some damage in the ACC? Because
Yeah.
I'll say this: that defense is legit, man. Like they're
What other
really
team besides Miami is like you taking over Louisville in the ACC at this point? I'm not taking Georgia Tech over them.
I don't know if I am either, to
They're
be
better
honest.
than Virginia. I know they lost Virginia. They're a better football team than the Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah, like outside of the offensive line, which I thought was actually pretty damn good tonight. I mean, like Miller Moss is not an elite quarterback, but I think he really does fit what Coach Brown wants to do. You got, I mean, a legitimate difference maker in Cristobal on the outside. We saw Isaac Brown finally start to get it going. He's been non-existent to start the year. And Dill, that Louisville defense outside of Miami, what defense are you taking over Louisville in the ACC? This is a
Just
team
their
that we got
front
to.
seven is like good. I thought their front seven was going to be a problem, but like Clev Lubin, he's a monster. I mean, he was a guy out of the portal. I almost feel like probably should have gotten more buzz. And you're
Yeah,
speaking a little bit in hindsight, but like that is very much
it's an
pro.
NFL dude, man. And Ron, I know who we should be talking. Ron English. I feel like he's just been trotting out some really solid defenses there at Louisville the last couple of years. I mean, they should be undefeated, right? I mean, they lost that game to Virginia. They outgained Virginia by 150 total yards, and they lost that football game. Like there's a reality where Louisville's undefeated and probably a top 10 team after this win on the road against Miami. Dill, for Miami going forward, what are your expectations here? What do you
I
need
don't
to
think
see?
they change again. Like these type of games, I feel like you're just gonna have to deal with them, and it is like very annoying if a Miami fan, your quarterback throws 4 interceptions, and you still felt like I don't know, like you felt like you should have won that game, frankly,
Yeah,
I suppose. So I don't think your expectations change a ton, but like the only concerning part is like 4 quarters of really bad play from the offensive line.
sure.
That's wanting to be kind of the unit I'm looking for going
Yeah,
forward. Like they got to be good. They got to be a top
yeah,
5 unit, I think, for this Miami team to win a national title.
yeah.
They played like a bottom
And
tier.
again, Dill, like you look at the numbers, they're not even the top 80 in yards per carry right now after this game. We
But
got to
that
figure
doesn't
out.
like inherently bother me because I just stylistically Miami's been doing
Okay.
what I kind of want, frankly, from their offensive line as much as they're not popping big ones.
Yeah.
This was the first game. It felt like you just weren't moving anyone. You were getting a lot of 0, 1, 2 yard gains like
Yeah.
That's going to put Miami in a lot of really tough spots.
Yeah. I think that's fair. We'll see. Again, there's national championship ball in this Miami program. That wasn't even close. And here's the question: How does this football team respond? Right? We saw this team not respond very well last year when they lost to Georgia Tech. How does this football team respond? And I will say this: one of the cool parts about this game is if you got this performance from Cam Ward last year, you wouldn't have a chance to win this game. You'd be losing by 4 touchdowns, right? And so this team can win ugly. Heck, they had a chance to go win this football game in the fourth quarter through 4 picks against a very quality Louisville team that kind of tells you how good Miami is. You just can't play that bad. All right, we'll close it out there. Disappointing. We've had a lot of positive talk about for Miami and Dill. I feel like I'm kind of getting lost here. Shout out Louisville, man. They came out ready to play, and they made the plays to win this game, too. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.